This is part 2 of my video covering the fall semester at the One Shepherd Leadership Institute at Alpha Company in Missouri. Blue 4 started the morning off early, staging gear for PCCs and PCIs. At the same time, Op 4 on the other hand was still in the rack, being their nasty cells. This FTX, I'd be the assistant patrol leader on the Blue 4 team with my good buddy Les from the YouTube channel Pegasus Test serving as the patrol leader. Next was some excellent morning chow before we stepped off for 2.5 days at the FTX, where we'd be eating nothing but MREs. After receiving our op order from higher, Les began to brief his men on the mission.
Alright, so the enemy, there's been a recent increase in Taji Sword security patrols that may indicate renewed combat action. We are expecting good weather and nighttime visibility for continued observation of the enemy. Our mission, 1st Platoon, 1st Troop, 10th Cavalry Brigade, will conduct security patrols between Guard Post 18 at grid 4855-1850.
Can you repeat?
4855-1850. And Guard Post 20 at grid 4895-1950. I say again, 4895-1850. Our patrol operations will begin at 1200 hours today and continue to 1500 hours tomorrow while we wait further orders. The intent here is we intend to conduct a demonstration of combat power through aggressive security patrols and therefore block enemy infiltration efforts into our sector of the border. Anybody who patrols in the southern Levant will be met with the use of deadly force. Be advised, there is civilian foot traffic and vehicle traffic along the MSR. So, in other words, identify your targets before firing.
After all this, we finally saw some movement out of the Op 4 this morning. After everyone was briefed and all the gear was inspected, we began to conduct our rehearsals for the mission. Once inserted, we were to establish an ORP, followed by a patrol base. After the patrol base had been occupied, we were to establish 2 lpops that were to be connected by comm wire so that the positions could all communicate using TA1 field phones. This was all well rehearsed so that each team member of the patrol would know exactly what their role was. Once ready, we geared up and boarded an old Deuce and a half, where we were trucked out to our insertion point. The beginning of the mission went just as rehearsed without flaw. An ORP was established, followed by the occupation of a patrol base. The 2 fire teams then began to push out, stringing along with them their comm wire to the respective LPOP. I also placed early warning trip devices approximately 100 meters in front of our patrol base on likely avenues of enemy approach in case we had any uninvited guests.
A little surprise for the Op 4. Connected to the post of the wire, which is the boundary.
In accordance with our mission, routine security patrols were to be conducted along the entirety of our AO. The comm wire not only served as lines of communication, but also served as a guideline for our patrols, drastically reducing the chances of blue-on-blue friendly fire instances. Several hours into the mission, one of our LPOPs spotted an enemy recon team moving past their position, which prompted us to send out a patrol to try to intercept them. In the process of doing that, I heard one of the early warning devices go off near the PB, as well as our security patrol having an exchange of gunfire with the enemy. Shortly after that, the LPOP I happened to be at working on one of the TA phones made contact with the enemy as well.
So we got hit for the first time about 30 minutes ago. They hit pretty much, they just ran smack dab into one of my early warning devices. And then they hit where our patrol base was, as well as one of our OPs and one of our ambush sites. We're pretty confident we inflicted some serious damage on them. We did lose 2 of our guys in the process, but our lines are holding. They did find our comm wire, they cut it, but we have since repaired it. And right now we're in the process of setting up a couple ambush sites and getting ready for night operations.
As nightfall approached, the teams at the LPOPs were then retasked with setting up ambushes on likely avenues of enemy approach.
You guys can keep pushing to the mud trail. Okay. They saw enemy this morning, but they saw them go down and then come back. So they're out there. Right. What's the intent of watching? Fine. He still doesn't know exactly what the trail is. What's the intent to watch? Pop his approach or just to watch the mud trail? No, just watch. Because the mud trail is a high avenue of approach. So, alright. Obviously they can make it to the woods. The wire's just going to be left in place for a guide. They're not going to use it though. Alright. So, just follow it. They'll take it to the mud trail. It's cut right here. But it should still be on the ground that you guys can follow. Let's guide. Alright. We were doing our normal rat line patrol. We found a split in the wire for the furthest LPOP. We repaired that. And then we kept pushing down. We ran into Peng, who's the team leader there. And we coordinated with him and setting up an L-shaped ambush. So essentially, the old LPOP is going to be the long leg of the L. And then 2 other of his guys, he's got a team of 4, 2 other of his guys are going to make a short leg in some vegetation. Peng has seen a total of 3 recon patrols, like 3 personnel.
Yeah, he relayed that to us.
Yeah, 2 different occasions. Come down that road unscathed, right? So that's like a total of 3 or 4 times that they've done that. So my suspicion is they're thinking that we don't have any eyes on the road because we haven't touched them, right?
Yeah.
They come through the woods and we've opened up on them and killed them.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that they push a large force down that road thinking that we're not watching it. And they'll run right into Peng.
Yeah.
Should sound pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So,
Good plan. Tell me what's happening at Romeo.
Romeo, they've pushed off their original spot. There's an opening back about 15 meters or so from where they were. And they found like snail trails going in there. Like they think they made that a LRP at some point. Essentially the mud trail leads right up to it.
Okay.
But they didn't make it to the mud trail last night.
Yeah.
They stopped short because we felt the wire was cut.
Yeah.
Which ended up being the right call. But they found the mud trail leads to that opening. So they're going to set up an ambush on that.
Okay.
Both teams are doing like a rest cycle so that they can get some shut eye.
Okay. What's their water situation out there?
They're both good for now. Peng says he's good till noon. Red says about the same. I'm thinking, if not the next patrol, maybe 2 from now, we'll push out, we'll carry a jug, and we'll hit both positions and top them off.
Okay.
I finally ran out of radio batteries though, so I don't know what you guys are looking like, but if I'm running out, mine's been going constantly.
I've been keeping mine off. When I sent the Missouri militia guys out with you, I told them to keep their radio off unless you split them off or they became separated.
Okay.
So we're good on battery conservation here.
Once
So you can take my spares.
we get a couple more batteries and maybe a water jug expended, we need to start thinking about a resupply.
Yeah, that's on my radar.
And maybe some ammo too, because those 2 teams have had some significant fire. Well, Red's team has had some significant firefights.
What's their ammo situation?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right, end of our first day.
we set up our observation post and 2 LPOPs during the day, the enemy discovered our wire that was linking the 2. So we converted our LPOPs into ambushes. Sometime during the early evening, 2 members of our mic team had a meeting engagement of some type, and later on during the night, we think we may have been probed. We're not sure. We heard sounds, but our wires were cut again. Right now, I'm getting ready to send Brent my APL out so he can go ahead, do repair lines, and reestablish contact with our LPOP ambushes.
Before pushing out to the other positions, I wanted to check on the early warning device that I'd sit out and heard go off.
Well, they definitely hit that one. You can see all the dirt here.
Knowing that we were going to receive a new mission around noon, and that we were most likely going to be leaving our current AO, we began to reel in the comm wire in preparation for our movement.
All right, Peel. Here's a frago, your next mission.
Okay.
The friendly situation is we have multiple observation posts running security patrols at the border. The enemy recent increase in Taji Sword security patrols may indicate renewed combat action. The environment, good weather and nighttime visibility for continued observation of the enemy. Mission, 1st Platoon, 1st Troop, 10th Cav Brigade will conduct Ambrew. Yep, sure. I'm going to hand this sheet to you, if that helps.
Okay,
but
cool.
if you want to pick your pertinent stuff, that's fine.
Okay.
Yep. 1st Platoon, 1st Troop, 10th Cav Brigade. That's you. Will conduct ambush operations in NAI Engine, Named Area of Interest Engine, with particular attention to the southernmost portion from 1600 hours today till 1100 hours tomorrow. Commander's intent. 1st Troop Commander intends a demonstration of combat power by conducting ambushes deeper within enemy territory and thereby discourage further enemy infiltration efforts in our sector of the border.
Okay.
Here's your map.
Oh.
Right, there's your map with your AO boundaries.
Okay.
So your ROE guidance. Enemy patrols will be met with use of deadly force. Caution, there's civilian out of play, foot traffic, and vehicular traffic along the MSR.
Okay.
Your CAS plan. You will be reinforced for casualties, losses, respawn at the bottom of even numbered hours. No instant respawns.
Okay. So I am to push up into Named Area of Interest Engine.
That's where we want you to search with particular attention to the south. We want you to conduct ambushes in here, but particular attention to the south. That's the verbiage.
Okay. So particular interest in the southern portion, all the way
Correct.
across, or
Correct.
just the southwest or southeast
All
corners?
the way across.
All the way across. Okay.
Now, if it's not clear, I just want to make it clear that the road is in play, but obviously you've got a minefield, unidentified minefield there. This is most assuredly out of play, just simply not Jason's property, but imagine that's another adjacent unit that is in control of that.
Right.
Okay?
And this is open area here. And any particular significance to these phase lines other than just reportings?
Just reportings if you want to use them.
Roger.
As such, they're convenient terrain features. If you want to use those as you push up, I imagine you'll establish a new position. You're currently right there, and so you can establish a new position basically wherever you want, as long as it's within this territory here. You know, we do expect there's enemy in here, so it might be prudent to set something, not hand-holding, but I don't know, wherever you would want, anywhere in here,
Somewhere
here,
close
somewhere
to the
in
named
there.
area of interest.
Correct, yeah.
Right.
Because we just simply don't know what's in here. We don't.
know, but we are to ambush the enemy.
Correct.
Show
Ambush operations, yep.
Ambush operations for show of combat power.
Yep. That is yours to keep.
Thank you. All right. Oh, I need to get to planning.
Upon receiving our new mission, one fire team and I were sent out to do a leader's recon to find a good location to establish a new patrol base to operate out of. Once we located a feasible area, we then made movement back to a pre-established rally point where we would link up with the rest of the patrol and guide them into the new patrol base.
So we were strung out along the 186. We sent out some lpops, and we had continuous patrols going back and forth. Enemy really essentially just probed us, did a little recon. They were fucking with our comm wire. That's essentially all they accomplished. As of today, we've been tasked with a new mission. Now we're infiltrating into their territory, and we've been tasked with setting up ambush operations. So we just did a rough movement. We established a patrol base in Indian territory. Now we're kind of conducting final preparations, and we're about to kick off on some recon / ambush patrols. So it should be a good time.
After establishing a new patrol base, we then pushed out on a 2-man recon team to try to locate where the enemy was operating out of. The idea being that if we located their PB, it would better enable us to set up an effective ambush on them. Having conducted a very thorough reconnaissance of the AO, we knew that the enemy was moving from a location somewhere in the northwest. However, we still did not have an exact location of where the enemy was coming from. Early the next morning, we thus broke up into 2 separate elements in order to establish 2 ambush locations oriented on the likely avenues of enemy approach from the northwest. While on our ambush location, we heard the other ambush open up on the enemy. We thus maneuvered to join into the fight.
All right, boys and girls. So let's bring you up to date on what's happened. So last night, we set out on our ambush patrols. Brent took 1 man and did an extensive recon of our area of interest, where I took the main body, set in on a road juncture, and put in basically an L-shaped ambush. From there, we were in the ambush about an hour when we made contact with our Romeo team. Our Romeo team lit the enemy up twice. We have no idea if we got any kills or not. We don't believe we did. We then broke contact and got out. Well, actually, I should say the enemy broke contact. We broke our ambush because it was compromised and headed back to our patrol base. At our patrol base, we awaited for APL Brent to return. When he did, he came back with negative results of his recon. And from that point on, we just rested down and made a new plan to start in the morning. We stepped off at 05:30. And at 05:30, we went to this ambush position here. We were set in a loose L thing so we could cover a road junction, which was up ahead. Up at that road junction, we came in contact with enemy forces. And initially started out with low volume of fire and evolved into a team-on-team fight. And that's where we are now. I have been killed, and now my team leaders are out doing their job. Sounds like they're pressing the enemy as they've moved them back probably about 50 meters from this ambush position.
After the fight had ended, index was called by the OCs, and both sides returned back to the FOB for a post-FTX AAR.
Okay, whose private smoke grenade do I have?
each state what the plan was on both sides, the performance related to that plan, because oftentimes they differed, and through that gap of what actually happened and what the plan was, we're going to learn some things. Hopefully you guys did. We're going to find some issues, identify those, and then as a separate activity, we're going to identify fixes for those, potential fixes, and maybe even some sustains.
Following the AAR is a much-awaited Warriors meal with steaks and beer. Well, that's it, guys. That concludes part 2 of this recap video for Alpha Company 1 Shepherd's fall semester in Missouri. If you're interested in attending a 1 Shepherd semester, please check out the link in the description box below. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to leave a comment.
Stock and trade, and I've been cooking 7 years without one single raid. I sleep with 15 women and there ain't one on the pill, cause they all want to date the Donald Trump of Cedar Hill. Crystal Mary, I love to smell it cooking and it's always on my bread. Crystal Mary, Crystal Mary. Making meth to keep their men awake. I know they would have won the war if they had the shit I make. Some freaky tweaking, just ask my buddy Seth. If you dare to smoke a light bulb full of Jethro Crystal Mary. Crystal Mary, Crystal Mary. Well, I love to smell it cooking, and it's always on my bread. Crystal Mary. Better not come around looking when I'm cooking the Christmas. Well, you might just burn your house down if you cook the stuff inside. So I slip on down the holler back behind my double wide. If my neighbors ever find my lab, I know I'll have a mess. That's why I always walk around with a loaded SKS. I love to smell it cooking and it's always on my breath. Crystal Mary, Crystal Mary. When I was cooking Crystal